points of. And that's one of the things a lot of people say, you know, like with property, do you want to, are you in a rush to give up your day job? Which I'm not really. I quite like the job. And do you know what I mean? So
nah, I love that. Just to
I know I'm going right.
no. Listen, your story is just, obviously this is the first time I'm hearing it in such detail, because you touched on it a little bit in the live that you did for the group, and obviously speaking to you on a personal level, I know you've been through quite a lot. To go from sort of 12 years old, and you said you were changing schools, and then off the back of that you didn't feel like you were sort of fitting in, you then got into the wrong circles, doing the wrong things such as drinking, drugs, up to the point where you said you're sort of like in that alleyway with the injection. I mean, how you must have been feeling, I can't even comprehend it, to turn around and think to yourself, you know what, I know this is going to end my life, but I don't care, I'm going to inject it anyway. Talk to me a little bit about when you went for CBT therapy, because from the story that you're saying, you try and make a little bit of a change and then something happens and it knocks you straight back into that bad circle. So when you did go for your therapy, for your 14 months even, what was that like? What was that period of time like, and how did you manage to snap out of these bad sort of habits and circles that you were getting yourself into?
I mean, I think it's almost like being reprogrammed to an extent. I mean, one of the groups is called a peer eval, and you sit there in this group, and it starts off the person on the right hand side. They'll sit there and they'll say, "You dishonest, you devious, you manipulative," and all this, right? And the whole room goes round and tells them, you know, what behaviours and stuff like that they're seeing you. And you're not allowed to respond at all to any of it.
Okay.
So, like, imagine, one person can call but if 20 people call you the same thing, then you've got to sort of take that on board, haven't you? But, I mean, and a lot of it, so I hit me dad as well when I was drunk one time. So you wrote letters like apologise and for, because you're carrying that shame and all that sort of stuff as well. So I think it's like that compound effect of small changes gradually being made. And before we used to go off site, we used to have to do a risk assessment. So, like being an alcoholic. So if you're going into a town centre, there's a high risk if you're walking down a drink aisle in a shop. If you're going into an off license, speaking to some homeless person is a risk. Going near a pub's a risk. So it's about identifying all them sort of things. And it's mad because there's a thing called seemingly irrelevant decisions and seemingly irrelevant behaviours. And in that compound effect book as well, it talks about like seemingly irrelevant decisions, what we make throughout our life. So it was, and obviously you have key work sessions, so you like talk about your issues, and you maybe think, I do feel like rejected, I do feel like I might get treated differently. I don't like it when things seem unfair as well.
Was it giving you a different perspective on the problems that you had, or was it more helping you sort of realise the path that you were going down was wrong, and it's just a case of, like you said, reprogramming your mind and thinking, okay, the decisions that I was making almost without thinking before are actually the decisions that are getting me into these problems. Like how you said, you'd walk down a drink aisle and it might be, okay, I might just pick up one or even talk to the wrong person, think the wrong things. But to physically or mentally reprogram someone, that's got to be a testament to yourself, because when you've had years of almost being stuck in these bad habits, to then be able to snap out of it with 14 months of intense sort of like rehab and therapy, that's difficult, man. I can't even imagine.
It was intense, it was. I mean, the amount of people that used to walk out of there, do you know what I mean? And as I said, it's the hardest, but I think obviously to make that decision to go in the first place is like probably the biggest step.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some, you know, you've got to want to change anywhere. And I suppose it's like when you start doing property as well. You know, there's some reason why you choose to start watching YouTube videos or joining a Facebook group or whatever you do. You've got something there what you want to like expand.